Empower Nation. Welcome back to another episode of Empower Her Money podcast. I am your host, Angela Duncan, and today's episode is sponsored by freemoneytipsforwomen.com, freemoneytipsforwomen.com. Check out the website, and you can download a free, for a limited time, ebook on 7 steps to get your financial house in order. Today, I am super excited to have my amazing daughter on the podcast. She has launched a new company. So as a mom, of course, I'm going to support her. And she's going to tell you all things about marketing today. Isela, welcome to the show.
Hi, thank you for having me.
You're welcome.
Excited.
So tell us a little bit about you and your background and kind of why you got started with the marketing company.
So obviously I'm Angela's daughter. So I just grew up around business. I've always been really interested in business. I'm currently a junior in college and I'm a marketing major. So I've just always been super interested. Even in elementary school, I used to read business books. My teachers were like, what is this kid doing reading Dave Ramsey in 5th grade? So I've just been always really interested in it. And I obviously, as a kid, you want to be like your parents. So I just would see, my mom and my dad doing what they wanted to do and being their own bosses. And that always just really inspired me to kind of take that path and to be able to control, my time and my schedule is definitely something that appealed me to it as well.
Awesome. So I could tell a little story about you. I think we always knew that you were going to be an entrepreneur, and we were in DC and we were sitting down at a table and you were pitching, like doing a marketing pitch that we recorded. Do you remember that?
Yeah, I do remember that. I was like,
yeah, you were giving us ideas on how to do marketing. So, from a parent, anyone listening, if you are a parent, definitely encourage your kids. If you see them doing something early, let them do it, have some fun with that, encourage them and give them the confidence so that they will continue on that journey as well. So you've been doing marketing for a little bit, a lot of social media stuff. What are some tips that you have learned that maybe you could share with the audience to help them with their marketing?
Definitely to be patient. I feel like that's something that I struggle with. I'm very impatient. I feel like a lot of my generation is impatient because we grew up with social media and it's just like everything's just right in front of our fingers and our faces and we just want it now. So you have to be patient because when you're growing a company or you're growing like a social media platform, it's not going to happen overnight and you need to just be consistent and be patient and just learn what works, learn what doesn't work, and to just try new things and see what works for you and what works for your company that you're trying to grow the platform for.
And sometimes it's good maybe just to start with one platform and really make sure that you're being consistent and utilizing that platform before moving on to other platforms too.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah. So what about some apps? What have you found that is useful and can be like a little bit easier for some people just starting off and picking a platform? What kind of apps should they be using?
I use CapCut and Canva. I was not familiar with Canva until I started doing this like professionally, and I love Canva. Like I think it's great. It has so many templates and you can just really brainstorm and be creative with it because I'm more of a creative person. So I like to be creative. I like to make something pretty, make it my own, and it just has like a plethora of like options you can do when you're creating stuff.
Yeah. And what are you using Canva for so that people can understand what kind of things that you can do in that platform?
I use it for thumbnails for reels. I use it for posts if you're gonna do like kind of like a swipe post, just whatever you want to do. When it comes to like Instagram, mostly Instagram is what I use Canva for. Or if I'm making like a document and I'm gonna send it out, but I want it to be like a specific way or to look a specific way, I'll use Canva.
Gotcha. And so what's next for you? What other platforms are you learning or apps that you're going to want to implement? What are some other ways that you might be expanding your media business?
Well, obviously recently the podcast on Spotify, that's something new for me, but it's way different than what I expected it to be like, but I like it and I like learning new things and these new tools so I can implement them with other companies I may work with in the future. And then also YouTube, that's something I'm not as familiar with because being Gen Z, I like grew up on Instagram and TikTok I've been using a lot just like in my personal life. So I feel like I'm more familiar with those than I am with YouTube just because I feel like YouTube wasn't really like super big when I was growing up. It was kind of like before my time a little bit. So it's kind of like different for me to be using.
Yeah. Do you have other students that you've kind of been talking about business ideas with? Or do you find that difficult to relate?
I mean, recently I feel like a little bit more I was able to, because I recently, as you know, I studied abroad in Spain, and it was a really great experience. And I felt like I was surrounded with people who were like-minded to me. It was all business students, and they were doing, internships, and it's like a lot of like junior seniors. So it's like people my age or older. But I do feel like I do struggle when it comes to that kind of stuff. I don't have a lot of friends who are exactly think like me, because I'm very like business minded. I'm problem solve, and I just need to think, and I'm like constantly go, go, go. And I feel like a lot of people my age are more relaxed than me, which, could be good or bad. But I feel like I'm definitely do struggle to find people who think like me, because they didn't grow up like me. I watched a business be created from the ground up, and that was like what I was around. After school I would be at the office, and I'm just hearing like the company and people talk, and it's just like I was just so surrounded by it. And kids are kind of like sponges, so I just like was soaking that all in as I grew up, so I don't know anything different. And some people didn't really grow up like that, so it's like a little different for me, because I think so like tunnel vision like that into business.
Yeah. I used to listen to tapes and CDs in the car. If you remember Tony Robbins and Darren Hardy with the Entrepreneur. So, as a parent, I like listening to positive information and education and continuing growing. And yes, you're in the car with me, so you kind of had to listen to that at a very young age. But hopefully, some of that information kind of stuck with you. And now, as you've gotten older, can appreciate it more. Whereas before you would just get mad because I wasn't playing Selena Gomez in the car.
Yeah, I do remember that.
Yeah. So fun question for you. If you could pick one super talent or superpower that you don't have, what would it be and why?
I would so pick singing. I know that's your answer too. I would so pick singing. I'm not a good singer. Used to do chorus, and musical theater was not my calling. I wish it was though, because I feel like I love music. I love to listen to music, but I'm not talented when it comes to that. So it's definitely something I wish I could do. I always thought that was really cool. People that can
Yep.
sing and stuff.
But now you can take your marketing skills, like you maybe get into that genre where you're helping marketing new artists and being able to hear all the new music that's coming out.
Awesome. Yeah, that would be
so if our audience wanted to get in touch with you and learn more about how you can help them with their marketing, what's the best way to contact you?
Just email me, shoot me an email. I check it all the time. I have my notifications on. My email is Rez, R-E-Z, marketing, MGT @gmail.com. So just reach me there.
Awesome. Well, thank you for being on the show today. Another episode of Empower Her Money podcast. I'm your host, Angela Duncan. Tune in next week where we will interview another female entrepreneur for this amazing podcast.